When pro wrestling fans think Indiana, most think of Dick the Bruiser, but in my opinion, the greatest pro wrestler to come out of this state did not spend much of his life here. He and his famous brother were born in Hammond, Indiana, but would soon move to Amarillo, Texas. He was your typical traditional pro wrestler early on, but he became one of the most gifted talkers in the business. He loved calling Dusty Rhodes an egg-sucking dog. And he may have been the most gifted choreographer of a pro wrestling match who ever lived. He was a megastar in Japan, here in the U.S., and he pioneered what became known as hardcore wrestling much later in his career. He also competed until he was 73 years old. We lost the great Terry Funk yesterday. He was 79, and pro wrestling fans will love him
forever.
Don't start shit if you ain't ready to get hit.
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
We have to disagree. I saw the Sailor Moon outfit.
A fucking headache. Why?
There we go.
All right.
Hey guys.
Yo,
What's going on? What's going on?
what's going on? What's up, Maurice?
What's going on, man?
Oh my God. Stay.
Good, good.
The rivalry between Punk and Joe ain't got nothing on the rivalry between you and your camera.
No, so I have a lot of clutter in my work table because of my painting. All
Can
right,
it begin?
we're study now. Just wait a few minutes here. We're gonna get started in a couple of minutes, guys. Just let the room fill up. See if it's good
How's
though.
everybody holding up?
I'm exhausted.
Well, I'm about to make a year older tomorrow,
Yeah.
so
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
I made it. So let's
I made
support it. Day I'm alive. Thank you, guys.
The way how my job is going, I'm surprised I'm still alive.
Which is what makes this even harder. The fact that Bray Wyatt was a couple of years younger than me. What's going on, my BMF army? Your favorite Jedi, the BMF goddess. Today I come from a place of pain and loss with the tragic passing of both Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Terry Funk died at age 79. He had a wrestling career well over 50 years. Son of the great Dory Funk Sr. He debuted back in 1965. Sadly, not nearly the same can be said about Bray Wyatt. At only 36 years old, having wrestled most of his life and being in the WWE he actually debuted in 2009, but he came to WWE in 2010 to 2021. That's when they were doing all the layoffs, and he came back in 2022, till present. Now, when Terry Funk passed, I was sad, of course. He's an icon, but it feels different. It hits different because of his age. Terry got to do a lot in his career. He got to, you know, achieve most of the things that he wanted to achieve, and it's the complete opposite for Bray. I know he's had a lengthy wrestling career, but I know there was still so much he wanted to do, and we were still watching him evolve, and that should hit me like a ton of bricks also because he's one of my favorite wrestlers uh currently, and it just sucks, man. I want to welcome my returning co-host Jay and the Black Dragon Maurice Jones. You guys already know the deal. If you have any questions or comments, write them below. We will interact with you. But I'm gonna start with you guys. You could say, what happened. How did you feel when you heard the news with Terry, and how it affected you, and how you feel about it?
I'll go first. So it just hit deeply home. I think you hit the nail on the head. The Terry Funk passing, was definitely a shock, but he had such longevity, and the type of stuff he was doing with Brandon Irons and Chainsaw Charlie. It was just like it was a tough pill to swallow, but we understood. The Bray thing happened out of nowhere, and it hit. It really felt like we lost a family member because we saw, we were there. This is our generation. This is one of like our people. We weren't there in the 60s and 70s to see Terry Funk's heyday. Now it's still affected. We still feel it. Some of the people that were inspired by him, there wouldn't have been an ECW if it wasn't for Terry Funk. So we still felt the effects. But Bray was like our guy. We saw the Husky Harris. We saw, the tank with the Ferrari, and like we were there for it. We were expecting. He was just cleared less than 2 weeks ago to come back, so we're expecting a comeback, and it was just like we didn't see it coming. We had no idea, and the impact and the relevance to us currently right now, it hit. Like I had to reach out to several people just because they were shaken to their core. Like this was different. Like this is somebody right now we didn't see coming out of nowhere. It's still tough. Like sometimes I have to scroll because like I can't deal with it. Like this hurts. Like this, it really it resonates. It's like crazy.
One of the shout outs to Royalty was good. One of the Lucha Libre pages, they kept like posting his pictures and his stuff all day long. I had to unfollow them because I couldn't take it. I do get emotional with the passing of most wrestlers because I'm passionate about wrestling and the people who bring us entertainment, but I definitely cried a lot for Bray. So I feel you on that. What about you, Jay?
Well, with Terry, like you both said, you both hit the nail in the coffin. With Terry Funk, he lived a longevity of like a life and as a wrestling life as well. Because in life, everyone knows that we're born, but one day we're gonna go. We just don't know when. And at least Terry could count his blessing that he lived long enough the way he did. And there's, like you said, like he's also one of the biggest influence, like, what Punk did on, what was it, on Saturday? He had a sign saying Terry Funk is always forever, but I like what he said at the end. I'm still smiling because we still have legends that are still around, like Brett, Sting, all of them. Like that was a good way to remind us, like, yeah, we're going to lose these great legends one day, but not too soon the way we lost Bray. Like you guys said, Bray was something that I could see him keep going the way Randy did, Cena did, Taker, the only guy that did it for so many years. I could see Bray doing that because Bray had a lot of passion for wrestling. Not like some of these guys, some of them are gonna sooner or later leave for doing other things, other projects, whatever the rumors is going on with those other guys. But with Bray, he lived and breathed WWE. That was something that he wanted to stay and continue. And it was tough for me because I just got out of work and I just got a message from a friend of mine sending me the news that Bray, and I was completely shocked. Like my coworkers was just looking at me like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Yo, Bray Wyatt passed," and like everybody in my job knows I'm a huge wrestling fan, and so it hit me because I was definitely counting the blessing that I got to see this man perform live a bunch of times. I saw him at Mania 33 with Orton. Certain things he was doing was amazing. He performed as the Fiend at one point in front of me. He performed facing the demon Finn Balor. Like that was something that I'm always going to cherish, that I got to see this man live, and he does amazing on TV, but he also does amazing live as well. And I think the closest that hit us as fans is the way when we lost Eddie Guerrero. Like Bray brought that little pain back again. That we lost somebody too soon, that had love for the business, and he wasn't just a great promo, he was a great wrestler, and as you can see, he was a great dad, he was great everything. And we lost him way too soon, like especially around our age range. Like, we're in the same age group as him, and to lose him in that young is just something that I think is going to be a while for us to let it sink into us.
Maurice, as a wrestler, I think you're gonna know where I'm coming from, because from what I know from dating a wrestler, as a wrestler, when you're starting, it kind of takes you a couple of years to really feel out who you actually are as a wrestler.
Absolutely. Bro, there's some people who still don't get it, right? Everybody has their own path.
Like Bray wasn't quite there. I feel like he was on his way there, which is what
Bray was
as
in
well.
such a unique position that his character had so much room. There's some people that you're put into a box and this is all you have. And sometimes that works for certain people, right? I'll take vintage Shelton Benjamin, great athlete. Character is I'm good, right? Right? What space, there's only but so limited. Again, nothing against one of the best physical athletes out there, but character wise, wasn't his strong selling suit, right? Bray, look at how much from the match he had with Cena, which was a spectacle, like especially nowadays when they incorporating stuff, there's still so much from the Fiend to Bray Wyatt to him just being a regular person. The sky was the limit to where it could have gone, where could it have go. As strong of a character, he was our generation's character-wise Undertaker, because Undertaker could do whatever in transition. We had a taste of that, and look how long the Undertaker lasted character-wise, right? So character-wise, yeah, it takes time. You got to learn it, you got to develop it. Sometimes some people get to it faster than the others. Some people take time. Everybody has their own journey, but we were just scratching the surface of something that had unlimited potential. Period.
And I agree with that 100%. Like, Taker develop a character. Like, even though Vince created that character, Taker evolved it during the years from, the golden era to the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression to this era. He evolved it. He was this generation Taker. But at the end of the day, Vince didn't create that character. Bray developed it and evolved it himself, which was even smarter, riskier, yes, but it worked.
But it paid off.
Worked for him so well.
Bro, you know how hard it is to explain the Firefly Funhouse to someone who's not a wrestling fan? You know,
That was genius.
and I
That
loved
was,
it. It was
that
genius.
that was
That
genius. Like
was
everything that Bray
poetic.
has done was pure genius. And he, like I said, even though yes, he is this generation Undertaker, but let me explain as a wrestling fan, he wasn't Taker though. He was him. Him exactly, and it worked. That's why I'm like the best moment to me, I will never forget, is you can tell that was passing the torch. When
Yeah,
Taker went up
absolutely.
to him, whispered to him, basically saying, "This is yours. I'm giving this to you." That Roman had this yard. No, the real torch he really passed on to was Bray. Bray got Taker's torch. No one else does because Taker never did that to no other wrestler. He didn't even do that for Kane, but Kane was part of his generation, so there's
Yeah.
no point of doing that with Kane. He had to do it to Bray because Bray was the younger generation of this time, and it worked. It worked beautifully, and people knew that. People knew that it was his time. He has to run this the way how Taker run it for 30 plus years, you know, and like to see him go this way, especially, I don't think it'll probably take another decade to find a guy to be creative and be athletic in the ring. Like Brave was very athletic. He put up amazing matches. To me, my favorite match till this day with Bray Wyatt was with the Demon and like those two matches he had with Finn Balor. They were the two most incredible matches I've seen from Bray in my top five at least. You know, and the feud he had with Randy, fucking unbelievable. Like you can't find a guy that could be creative and be athletic like that in a long time. We're not gonna find that in a long, long time, especially on the top mountain in the WWE.
And let's not forget, let's give a shout out to his tag team work because the Shield versus the Wyatt family, they got a pop before they touched each other.
Yeah,
That's something
that's
that's
another
tough to
top
do.
favorite match.
That's
YFM.
tough to do. Wasn't scared to give everybody else a shine. My favorite Bray Wyatt moment was when he was doing the pin and he poured it for Roman to do the spear. Oh, that's poetry.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. Like you can't teach
But
that. That comes from somebody. No producer told him to do that. That was a him thing, and
that,
it was just money.
and you know what they said? The best feud, the best rivalry, sometimes becomes one of the greatest dominating team, and those two dominated that match, which was
Easily, yeah.
unbelievable.
You know, I lost my thought. Go ahead, continue.
I was about
Um,
to say, grab a tissue,
yeah, I was
grab
like,
that
take your
tissue,
time.
take
Take
your
your time.
time.
It's just tough. Go ahead.
Ray did pass away. His heart attack was attributed to a problem that he had from catching COVID earlier this year. So once again, because I've said this 1,000 times, you people who think that COVID is a joke, here's another example of it not being one. I just seen recently, matter of fact, a little while ago, that they put up the fact that Ray was recommended by the doctor to have a heart defibrillator, and he didn't have it at the time of his passing. I don't know how much that would have helped, but
It wouldn't, did it? Doesn't Triple H have something like that?
Something similar, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would help.
to help you,
Regulate your heartbeat.
Regulate your heartbeat, but to do like a match, he would have had to retire
Yeah,
because that would
that
have been
would
a
have ended
risk.
his career instantly. Yeah,
That would have been a huge risk for him because then that machine itself would have popped and he could have died right there in the middle of the ring.
yeah. You
That would
can't
have
because literally
I think
chops. Yeah,
maybe that's why he didn't go for it. Maybe he probably said like maybe when the doctor suggested it, he probably thought about it like, no, if I do that, that's the end of my career. And he was still, like I said, these guys are still in their prime. Rollins is still in his prime. Roman is still in his prime. Like Ray is part of that group that came in this era. So he's still like 36. He could still go. And For him to put that, that's like literally forcing yourself to let go of what you worked so hard for, and it would have been painful for him to let go of that. Maybe he knew. Who knows
Who
what
knows?
the true solution they had for him? Because I did read that a couple weeks ago that he was cleared, and I was excited. I
It
wanted to
was
see him
clear.
come back already because he was going to be part of Raw. Will I love to see that world title on him? That will be incredible because we know he will have a long run with it. That he deserved long run, not like the run he had with the Universal title and the WWE title at the time. I think Triple H would have been very smart giving him that world title and see what he does with it. But, now we don't know. And we don't know what could have happened. It was the same thing happening with Eddie. Supposedly Eddie was supposed to win in 2006 Rumble. He was the one that was supposed to win, the world title from Angle at Mania or vice versa. But we would have never known what happened because, we lost these guys so soon, and and it's crazy, but I do wanted to ask Maurice this, like, as an MMA fighter, I know our health is always going to be number one, and we do have the ref to always protect us. But as a wrestler, that's something that's like I'm just a fan. It's not in my field that I ever performed. I tried it a couple of times. I trained it, but it's just like I guess I wasn't destined to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
So and then they put me in a path to be an MMA fighter. But at the end, like I wanted to ask you this. I was watching a podcast with Joe Rogan, and Joe asked Hogan because Hogan was the guest. And what's the health rate of why is the health rate of wrestlers the percentage is going higher now, even though now they're healthier, they're not taking these drugs that the 80s and the early 90s were doing, but what is still causing them to still lose their lifespan very young, in your opinion, what could it I'm a little curious about that.
I'll give you this. I think it's just wear and tear and still the old school mentality. The wrestlers, when you get to that top level, you don't get a break. Being on the road for 300 days a year, when do you get time to recover? And even if you recover, you just don't have time. Also, they're so accessible. As much as it is physical, mental is very important as well. Back in the day, even if they were on the road, while they were on the road, at least you're not dealing with people as directly. You got to think, Bray, we love Bray. You know how much negativity Bray got online because people who didn't get it? When do you get that mental break? Right? You got fans telling you, crapping on you every day. You have to do so much radio interviews and this here and this here. So even if you get a day off, if I have to do a radio, a signing, a this and that, when do I have a break? Then when I go home once or twice a week, you got to be super family member, right? You got to take care of the bills. You got to take care of the family. You got to take care of this. But you just missed a birthday, a recital of this. That weighs heavy mentally. So maybe they're not doing the hard stuff that they were doing back in the day, but they still doing something, right?
Okay.
Then they're not getting a chance to recover. You're working through getting hurt, because if you get hurt, you could lose your spot, period, right? So you're still working through hurt. You're not getting a chance to recover physically. You're not getting a chance to recover mentally. It's hard. It's hard. And you wear and tear, you wear your body out. And then afterwards, and then all you can do is make stuff based off your name. But if this is something you lived and breathed, because to be successful, you got to love this business. You got to live this business. What do you do after when this is what all you knew? Your mental is, I got to hit the road, do this, make sure you shake everybody's hand, make sure you have no beef, make sure you play politics right, then get on that road, make sure you have this set up, don't fall for these traps, make sure this, but then I still got beef at home. It's really, you have to be a little crazy to be a wrestler. period. But
Okay.
they're not getting a chance to recover and recoup. Like in MMA, you have maybe 6 months sometimes between a fight. If
Depends
I
on the
get injured
fighter.
on Sunday,
Yeah.
I gotta wrestle on Monday. That's great. When do you get to recover?
And that's why. And I think, like, in my opinion, like, I know this is about Bray and Terry, but I think it's smart what Roman and MJF did. Then, as champions, they actually had that little time off,
Of course.
little, and I wish they could do that. Like, I get it. You want to be a fighting champion, this and that, but at the same time, like, and I think it does take a toll, especially if you're on the top. Like I will disagree. Like, for instance, Adesanya just won the belt, and he's already defending it in September. Like, I don't agree to that, because like me, I would have been like, all right, I just fought the most toughest fight in the world, and I'm about to fight a guy. Like, yeah, I do. I think Sean Strickland is good. No, but like these champions, I'm noticing that some of them, I get it. You wanna be on that guy to be noticeable and influence. But I get what you're saying. Like, it does take a toll mentally, and that's something, like, I wish the wrestling world could try to take time of it, because, like, look at Lesnar, part timer, but he still gets a fucking pop coming back.
Genius. But you got to get to that level. You got to get to that level, though.
And
Once you get to that level, then you can start making the rules, moving your weight. But you have to look at how much it took to get up there. Look at how much they've been through. Brock is an anomaly because Brock's been Brock since Brock came. Brock came in and they were like, "You the shit," right? And he is.
But I feel like if I had to name the top five, Bray is definitely in those five guys that deserve that little, like, hey, even if I come in, I still put seats on the fucking arena, because, like, even like Extreme Rules. Look at that Extreme Rules of his return. I was not fucking focused on none of the matches. That little teaser that Bray kept doing, that's what I was looking forward to most. I was like, all right, what match he's gonna interrupt? Oh, like who's he gonna feud? No, he did it special. He didn't have to interrupt nobody. He didn't have to he didn't have to, like, send a message to another wrestler. He came back and letting us know he's back, and now he puts us in that roller coaster ride. Like, what's his next move? Who is he going after? And weeks after weeks, we're still wondering, like, all right, he's back, but who's he feuding with? What he did was smart, because, every return he had in the past, when he comes back from an injury or anything else, he targets somebody. Like, he targets Finn, he targets Seth. He even at one point at WrestleMania, he targeted The Rock. He targets Cena. He targeted a lot of people, but in this time, in his recent return, he was the one that put a target on his back, and that was with LA Knight.
Right.
LA Knight was the one that targeted him. That was genius. And I know that had to be Bray. Bray had to be behind the scenes and brought that up. And it was smart. And who gets to say, oh, this time I made a comeback, but now I have the target on my back? Because he knows he's a draw now. He knows people are going to tune in and be like, what is he? Because think about it. Anybody that's a true Bray Wyatt fan, you don't make no noise when he has the mic on his hand. Because his storytelling promos makes you stay quiet and hear him out, and then get a reaction after that. Not anybody in this generation could fucking do that right now. The only person probably right now that can top him right now, I'll say LA Knight, because everybody else loves his fucking promos. But at the end, Bray, you want to be like, what is he going to talk about now? Like, what's his story? Oh, what's he going to say about this feud? Like, the feud with Taker, his promos was fucking unbelievable. Even the feud he had with Braun, they were throwing little backstories about it in backstage. Like, he knew what he did, and I don't think no one's gonna top it. Probably like in another decade or so, maybe someone special will come in and actually show that unique style of wrestling with promos and the ring.
I just wish that he could have felt the love that people are doing now when he was still here, because so many times you hear from his wife JoJo like he needed to take time off because, again, to be that level of creative, you're putting your passion into it. And Bray was amazing, but everything didn't hit a home run. That Mountain Dew thing,
Yeah.
you know, okay, and it happens. When you're creative, you take a risk, you roll the dice. But sometimes the people who don't get it, because art is subjective. There's some people like, I don't get it. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel you. There's some people like, I don't like horror. It's like a horror aspect. I'm not feeling it. Some people who specifically loved it because it was like seeing a horror aspect that they like in wrestling. There's some people who don't like Kurt Angle. I don't get those people. They're crazy. But some people don't get it. It's fine. But how much negativity he would receive, and that he would have to take breaks off of social media just to try to get his mind right or deal with nagging injuries. I just wish he could feel this level of love while he was still here.
And that's what sucks now, because we live in an era that everybody has to fucking say something negative. And that's why, like, look, I get that right now. I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite saying this, but I hope you guys, like, I know you guys are gonna understand me what I'm gonna say. The social media is not supposed to be something that you gotta throw fucking negativity at people. Social media is more about, we need to socialize and try to unite. Like, now I'm using the social media platform because we're doing a podcast, but there's people that use it because I'm behind the phone, I'm behind the computer. Let me talk shit about Bray Wyatt. Let me talk shit about, like, yo, I say it, but I do it just to be funny. Like when I used to talk shit about Roman, especially. But I do it because I'm a fan. I do it because, you know, he's doing his job. I want to boo him. I want him to fucking lose that belt already. But to actually say stuff like for instance, like people say Cena can wrestle. Motherfucker, did you forget that match he had with Taker in 2003 in Vengeance? He fucking did spine busters. He put moves.
Any person who's on top of the card, like, you don't get here if you can't work.
Like,
where you think this is?
In the match he had with AJ Styles, he brought back that little ruthless aggression Cena again. Like he put moves again because he wanted to finally start having matches, because he wasn't going to do the same shit he does all the time. But that wasn't his fault. And the same goes with Roman. People say, oh, Roman can't wrestle. Like, if he can't wrestle, then why is he there? Not because of his bloodline. He's there because he put in the work.
My favorite example of that is a basketball player, Brian Scalabrine, who was considered one of the worst basketball players to make it into the NBA. And people challenge him all the time, and he busts their ass consistently. And it's like, you need to understand, I could be the worst, but at this level, I'm so much better than the average person, the people trying out. It's like, I'm far closer to LeBron than you are. Like, you don't make it to the top. When I was doing my company with Brian Myers, and we were doing the legit NXT like tryout workouts, and I'm pretty damn good. When I tell you that kicked my ass, and I'm like, damn, like I made it through. I did my thing, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. I was blown up a little bit. I was breathing heavy, but it's just like, this is what you got to do to get in there as a rookie. Like, I've seen Mark Henry doing rolls. You got some people out here that can't run ropes, but talk about this guy suck. Bro, some of these people have been on top of the mountain for years. If you aspect so many different things, you have to be strong physically, you have to be strong mentally, you have to be strong emotionally, you have to politic.
Exactly.
You don't even know.
And the word of Cody Rhodes, the word of Corey Graves, what he said about Cody, Bray showed that he became undesirable, but now undeniable.
Exactly.
Literally, because he was denied so many times in a lot of things. But then guess what? If you have a guy that was a general like Taker, Mark Calloway, to tell Vince, protect this guy because he's gonna go somewhere. That's, if you have faith in these legends like that, then you're doing fucking right. Ray was doing it right, and people tend to forget that. And it's true what you said. Why? Like, now I'm seeing fans that I didn't even know they were fucking
everybody out the woodwork.
I'm like, oh, now you're showing him love? Like,
let me just say something quick, because there are people who feel the same way, and they're projecting that negativity. And while I understand that, not everyone was a fan. Like for
Mhm.
me, I actually I got that feeling from when I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, and every time I seen the Firefly Funhouse,
Okay.
to mourn. We shouldn't be negative towards each other. Like, oh, you weren't a fan. So fucking what? Somebody lost their life, and you cannot be human not to give a shit or to be like, oh well, he wasn't a good wrestler. Nobody's out there saying that.
Yeah, and
He did. He was very, very public with his depression issue as well.
Yeah.
When he was let go of WWE in 2021, he kind of, he went through it.
Mhm.
I think it had to do with
I'm not sure
Brody Lee.
what his mental disorders were,
Yeah.
but depression was one of them, and his fans knew about that. And he would talk to fans and be there for them, and they
Big
would
time.
tell him, that he saved their life. Meanwhile, he's going through the
He's
same
still
thing.
battling.
Him a whole lot for that, because honestly, I'm the type of wrestling fan that I don't really want to know your personal business. I am super kayfabe. I'm
Yeah.
all kayfabe. But we live we live in the times where that's just not what it is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one time where he had a speech in the ring, and he spoke about how the fans, said that he saved them and how much it meant to him.
Mhm.
He was crying.
Yeah.
And while a little part of me was like, I don't want to see this, at the same time I respected him
Mhm.
because it's not easy to share regardless.
Well, like now we live. I feel like this is now the era of let's be a little bit more realistic era. Like they don't want to bring their character to them. They want to bring themselves out of their character in times. Like especially with you guys remember when Roman said, "My name is not Roman. My name is Joe." And I was tested with leukemia years ago, and it came back. Like, yeah, I agree. I'm super old school wrestling fan. I don't want to know. I don't want to know the Joe. I don't want to know the Windman. I don't want to know, Rebecca. I want to know Becky Lynch. I want to see Bray Wyatt. I want to see Roman. I want to see the living large character that they made us believe that I could fucking curse my teacher out whenever I want because he had that power. He showed
So
us that.
Stone Cold ain't no character. That's just him. I
That
don't care.
that's what I'm saying.
While he's talking, I'm saying to myself, I don't like that word character when it comes to
Mm-mm.
wrestling.
Yeah, but and Taker, I used to believe that motherfucker lives in a coffin somewhere. Like it made
He
us, gave
lived
us
it.
that imagination. There's kids out there that wanted Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy. I wanted fucking Taker to come into my house and tell me to rest in peace. Like that was a dream of mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we live
Because
very different lives. Mm-mm. You keep
because
that over there.
Now that you mentioned Austin, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do that day. I hope I'm not alive because I won't be able to deal. Y'all gonna have to call me and make sure that my heart is still
no,
beating
no,
because
that
he's getting
Wow.
up
It's
there and
scary.
he's in great shape. But again, you never
you
know.
never
I'm not
know.
with that,
These
man.
people, they might be Greek gods to us, but
They're
they
still
are mortals.
human. They're
They're
still
still human.
humans.
Oh
But
boy.
but it was an emotional week. I think tonight, they should do what they did for Eddie. The Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. They still did a lot of tributes to him. I feel like today they should continue that tribute, since not everybody from Monday Night Raw went to SmackDown. So now that everybody's on Raw, I feel like they need to continue that. Because I still got love and respect for Terry Funk as well. I think they should also do a little tribute for him as well because he brought that hardcore fan up there. If you want to talk about ECW, you can't leave Terry Funk's name out of there because
Period.
he built that up so much, and you know he was the guy that that was originally an average guy. He wasn't like a Hogan or any of them, but he made it. You know, he became a champion. He became the NWA champion. So he
Him and
was
his
one of
brother,
those.
the only brothers to become NWA
So
champions. And
they became those guys that so-called average small guys, but they show they could be champions. Like they were one of those guys that brought that up, you know, and made guys like Flair, made guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michael at one point, you know, Rey Mysterio. They made these guys believe in themselves and know that one of these days I don't need to be a 6'10", fucking 300 pounds to be a champion. I can be a champion with my ability and my passion. Terry Funk brought that out as well, and people tend to forget that. But I still will never forget my favorite moment from him. Still is when Taker chokeslammed him and his sneakers fucking fell off in that Hell in a Cell. That was just crazy.
Terry,
He was just checking on Mick.
Terry, mind you, Terry was not the greatest wrestler. He was not the greatest wrestler. He was a brawler, and you know, his tactics made him who he was over. So you know, they say the best wrestlers are great overall. Sometimes that's not the
case.
Something different. That's about Bray. Tired of seeing the same shit. Everybody recycling the same shit. Bray was a breath of fresh air. Something different.
There was something different. And an error in a company that tries to cookie cut, because that is WWE's style. He was able to step out and stand out and make it work. Bray didn't look what the WWE standard norm, what they go for is. He wasn't the size of what they normally go for. He was different, and it worked. And sometimes being different, if you're good, it works. It's nothing wrong with that, because nobody can be you if you're being you. It's you.
Yeah.
You know, how many other places tried to mimic, copy? You couldn't. And that's why his merch sales was going crazy, because people connected to it. You don't have to be for everybody. You don't have to be, you know, pop. Sometimes you could just be you, and the people connect with you. Those are your people, and they're going to ride with you to the moon, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what they did and allowed him to do, and it worked.
There's two things I wanted to talk about.
Te pueden llamar, que yo habito un Bayman, 1900, era un turno que tiene cocina, un cuarto, así que por él, okay.
My bad, guys.
It's all good.
What I was saying, there's two things that I want to talk about. I just lost the train of thoughts because I was not expecting to be interrupted like that. And I put a thing on the wall saying, "I'm doing a show, leave me alone." They still fucking ignore it, but
we live, baby. We live. It happens.
We're live. They're about to get RKO. They fucking come in my room again. But but at the end, all right, now I remember. What's really sad is, especially like Luke Harper, Brody Lee, or John Herbert. How you say his last name again? His real last name. He reached a peak of amazing character he built in AEW. You know, and we lost him. Bray was also there.
It was,
you know, and to see that they were getting there, to be like those guys, like you have to tune in, you have to watch, you have to listen. It's amazing that they were there, and just like that, like a blink of an eye. And tomorrow's never a promise. We end up losing them, and and if you guys think about it, we lost them in a short period of time. Like Brody Lee was still what, 2 years ago? Like that's still fresh, you know. And now we lost Bray. That fucking makes me concerned for Braun and Rowan, because I'm like, shit, they just lost their brothers. Yeah, man. They were together all this time, in the road and everything. So it's just crazy to see that. But I wanted to ask you guys this. I know I mentioned two, but what was like at least your top 5 favorite moment and favorite matches of Bray? Like, I'm very curious what you guys have to say about that.
I'll let you go first, Goddess.
I'm gonna pick one because Instagram only gives me so much time. It's hard for me to pick. I enjoy everything he does. But I have to say, the first time he came out, it's not even a match. Just the first time he switched it up to the Fiend, like I felt so satisfied as a fan. Like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're about to get on this new journey, and I was really excited for where it was gonna go. So for me, that was a big turning point. I love the Wyatt family. I love that gimmick. Everything before that, there was something about Bray that I always liked, but I really felt like he was on the journey to really his fermenting who he was actually gonna conceive on with gimmick.
I'm gonna just say moments that were just super memorable. That may be a little underrated. When he had like took over Daniel Bryan, and they were having that. I believe it was either cage match or Hell in a Cell, and Bryan finally went back.
It's my head too.
That moment. And mind you, I think Bryan was concussed. I don't even think he remembers it. But that moment, that pop when Bryan turned back, like, that's money. The Fireflies, just simple lights out with the phones, like just showing that to a non-wrestling fan watching a pay-per-view, like you can feel it. You can feel it. The Cena match was that Mania. I loved it because it was just going through everything and was telling a story with an underlayer of another story. Like, that's money. You could have did that with so many people for years to come. The one with him and Cena where he made, like, it was all mental. The not the fight itself, the actual.
He made the right?
The Funhouse match.
Yeah, the Funhouse match. I
loved it because it was poetry. It was going through like what would have happened if Cena would have went heel. What we teasing on the ruthless aggression, like all that underlying stuff was
him joining the NWO.
Him joining the NWO, like that's like you can't write that. Like that's genius. I think he was genius. Sometimes the line between genius and insanity is thin, and some people got it, some people didn't, and that's okay. I got it. I loved it. That was money. That was absolute money. And the one thing that we touched upon, and that this really made me think about, tomorrow isn't promised. It's really not. You never know. I'm 36 myself, bruh. Like that's crazy. Sometimes there's certain things it's not as important as you think it is.
Yeah.
Reach out to your loved ones. Take care of yourself because yourself is more important. Especially as wrestlers, we're taught the business is most important. If you're not here, you can't do the business. So you have to take care of yourself. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. Take care of yourself. Reach out to those loved ones. Tomorrow isn't promised. And do you. Because you live in trying to do somebody else's stuff, it's not going to be the same as when you do it and you make it there doing what you need to do, doing it yourself. It's going to be much better.
I agree.
I'm going to be real right now. I don't really share a lot of my personal business, but when this happened, something did click in my mind. I do have a brain injury that the doctors tell me that people who normally have this injury don't live past a certain age, which I'm definitely going to take with a grain of salt. But at the same time, you just never know.
Yeah.
So once, like, it was like got logged in right when they let out the news. And once I heard the news and it hurt me so deep, I was like, yo, the petty, if you can reconcile some petty difference with someone that you care about, you should, because you just don't know. It's just this quick that people be here and gone. And that pushed me to do that.
Mm,
And I did that with someone, and I feel so much better for it.
I love to hear that.
Because it shouldn't have to come to something
True.
to realize it, which of course I already knew, but it's really important
That's
what you just said.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
And also, remember, resolving things doesn't mean making things perfect again. Sometimes resolution is just, you know what?
You
It,
forgiving.
I forgive you. And forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself. And this is something that it didn't really hit until I got older. Once upon a time, I heard somebody said, like vengeance and revenge is like drinking poison and hoping it hurts the other person.
Yeah.
You thinking day in and day out about this other person, and most of the time they're not worried about you. Sometimes some terrible things can happen. We all have our own paths. We all have our own lives. We've been through stuff, and not everything can be let go. I hear you on that. But if it's something that you can let go just for yourself, to just get that off your heart, off your mind, it's you will feel better. I've experienced it personally. I've been through some stuff, some things you'd be like, well, how is he here? Bruh, I'm really, especially as I get older, your peace, your peace of mind is something that money can't buy you.
Yeah.
Let
Something
those
you
things go, resolve this stuff. Sometimes reach out to those people that you really care about, haven't heard from in a while. Check in, because you never know.
Yeah. Especially like, well, we just witnessed. um, and anything like me, I don't like. You guys know I don't really put my personal life out there either. And BMF, and I hope you stay positive, and I hope that gets resolved soon. And I know I used to be that type of guy that always said like, that's bullshit. Like fucking miracle doesn't work. But the reason why, because it's a mental state, and a lot of people tend to ignore that. It ignores that the more you keep manifesting shit, sometimes you manifest the wrong thing. The wrong thing hits you. You have to start. Like me, BMF, you've seen it, heard it a bunch of times, that I was in a downward spiral for my health and everything else. But if people could hear one advice that I could give out, is fuck what yesterday got to you. Focus on the main fact that you know what's better for you. You know what you deserve. Just go for it now. Don't even talk about it. Don't even think like, oh shit. But because like I always said this, I always have this belief: not all doctors, not all scientists are 100% fucking accurate. Only your mentally is. Your mentality could tell you, no, I got this. I could beat this. Oh, you know what? Fuck this. I know tomorrow I'm gonna win. If I didn't win today, I'm winning tomorrow. But if I didn't win tomorrow, I'm going to win the next day. You're going to continue focusing on that. You're going to win each day. And that's how you make your life better. Because if I could take any lesson that Bray showed, he wasn't afraid to live his life the next day as who he is. And that should be a perfect example that everybody should live in. Like me, I had a short temper. I don't let shit get to me no more, because I know that's not who I am anymore.
Uh-huh.
And if anybody is going through these depressions, because I thought that was what happened, that Bray was, because I know he was going through so much depression, I thought he took his life out.
It is suicide.
Yeah, but then when they confirmed that it was his health, guys, you don't know. We're still human. Our blood can be strong forever. Our bones can be strong forever. Mentality is always going. Our mentality and our hearts is always going through a roller coaster ride. And it is true. Like me, I don't hold grudges anymore. I let go of like, I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone's health. I don't wish bad on anything. Like, even though I was joking around,
I don't wish nothing bad on you,
you know,
yeah.
go ahead, do your thing. If you want to reconcile with me, be an adult. Even if you did the worst shit, be an adult about it and talk about it. Who knows what could happen the next day? But at
And
the end, I don't got time for that.
everything is forgivable.
Hmm
Let's
That's just how it is.
there's a lot of shit that's not forgivable, but
Mhm.
you forgive on your end because it's not fair for that person to live their life while you're holding on to that burden.
Yeah,
Exactly. You don't
exactly.
have to. Sometimes it's okay to let stuff go. Listen, there's some things I ain't gonna forgive, but I'm not thinking about it every day. I'm not holding it as a grudge. It's good. The power of no problem is so strong, so strong. There's some
Yeah,
things that happen people they're not gonna forgive. I get that,
and I
but
know the
there's not
audience,
forgiving and there's holding a grudge. Let it go.
and I know the audience, and you guys just saw. I got interrupted. BMF knows. Last year, I would have been like, "What the?" Like, I'm like
Hmm.
this. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Like, I'm
Yeah.
giving him a hint. Like,
All right.
I'm a little busy. Like, okay. Before, I would have flipped out. Like, I would have been like, "Motherfucker!"
Proud
Like, nigga.
of you.
Like,
How do you grow?
But we have to grow. We got to evolve, but evolve better. And I just want to say one last thing is, Bray and Terry, they're always going to be missed. Even till this day, I still miss Eddie Guerrero. He was someone that touched our hearts years ago. Like, I miss these guys because
So
they're the reason why.
very similar pain.
Hmm
Yeah.
You know, these are the guys that, like you said it yourself, we don't know what tomorrow brings. I know for sure. Like, if Stone Cold goes,
That's not even
God
talk about.
forbid, God forbid, that's gonna be something. I'm be like, what? Like, I know that's gonna break our hearts. Same goes for Sean, Triple H, guys that
Just like
we look up to. And I know me, I will freaking lose it if I hear The Undertaker ever pass, because everyone knows that was my number one guy.
everybody's gonna have
So
man.
they gotta go one way or the other. We all have to go one day,
Yeah.
and that's why we gotta cherish. And I always say this: I thank the universe, I thank God. If you're not religious or you are religious, it doesn't matter. You gotta stay thankful to the universe, life itself, because you're still waking up the next day to go to work, to do what you gotta
Yeah,
do,
man.
continue pursuing your legacy. And it's true. Every morning, I'm grateful that I wake up. Back then, I used to say, I hope I don't wake up, but now I'm saying I'm waking up because I got shit to do. I got shit to finish accomplishing. And if we keep that attitude up, shit, fucking life gets beautiful after that.
Yeah.
And in a small form, Eddie Guerrero has been. It's almost like a little piece of him came back to life because I think even down the line, somebody is gonna wrestlers. They absorb from their favorites,
Of
from
course.
those who made an impression before them. Dominic Mysterio very much is
Embodying.
encapsulating some
Yeah.
role in what he's doing, and I feel like down the line that's gonna happen with Bray. Somebody's
Of
gonna
course.
be, so that's a beautiful thing as well. But we do gotta wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Subscribe to BMF Goddess on YouTube. Thank you, Black Dragon, and thank you, Jay, for being here. Y'all already know BMF Army. May the force be with y'all. Good night.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night.
And then every once in a while, there would be someone I would meet that's truly remarkable. And you know who you are. But these people, they would come to me. They would come to me and they would say, Bray, I just wanted to thank you, man, because I was in a time of need. And I lost people that were close to me. And I lost my self-confidence. And I felt weak. And I felt vulnerable. And in this weakened state, I found your words, Bray. I found your words. And I just wanted to thank you, man. You saved my life, Bray. The truth is, I don't think about stuff like that. And the thing about that is that I can sit here right now today and I can look all of you in the eyes and I can say that you were there when I was weak, when I was vulnerable, when I was down. So I just wanted to say thank you. You all saved my life.
Normally, I keep a lot of my outside life separate from anything that I do on here or in the ring. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm incredibly thankful for the support and the love that I've received since I've been back and throughout my career. Wrestling has been a part of my life always. And when I was a kid, I looked at my dad, my uncles, and my grandfather, who were all professional wrestlers. I looked at them as if they were Greek gods or something. Like they couldn't feel pain. You know, they were immortal. They would always be just like that. As we get older, you know, and I become a man myself, you know, you start to understand that that's just not the case. You know, nothing is forever. This week, my uncle, Barry Windham, he had a massive heart failure in Atlanta, and he went down, and he didn't have a pulse for 10 to 20 minutes, you know, so he was away, he was gone. And I wanted to thank one specific man, Michael Todd Lalick, who was there, a random citizen, and he gave him CPR in there for that entire time before, you know, everyone else could get, the EMTs could get to him, and he was, you know, he stayed with him, and he's the reason that, you know, we have Barry still. He's alive, he's with us. And Barry Windham has given his life to his profession, you know. His whole life has been about this, just like mine, and he you know, he put everything into it, and I just wanted to share that I'm incredibly thankful to have him back. And my sister set up a GoFundMe in his name, and you're not obligated to share. No one's obligated to share anything, but if you could, that would be incredibly helpful. And you know, take it from me, sometimes, you know, when you're someone like that, it's incredibly powerful to remind them that they mean a lot to a lot of people. And I hope everyone out there that's hearing this, I hope you take this from me. Be good to the ones you love. Always remind them about that and how much they mean to you, because nothing is forever. Yeah, thank you for everything, guys.